Welcome back to the baseline. And today, guys, we're going to continue our series of the top 10 greatest. This time, closers. And join me, as always, is Craig and Al. And guys, how we doing?
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me as always. Looking forward to this. Can't wait to dive into relievers. Some of my, we always hit some of my favorite players ever, but boy, I don't know. I realize I really have a thing for relievers doing this exercise. So this is a lot of fun.
Absolutely, as always. And as I said to you guys off air, I think this was the easiest one we've done so far. Not that it was easy overall, but compared to the other ones, it was easier.
Yeah, agreed. I really do agree. There was still plenty of things I could change a couple things right now, no problem. But overall, I'm with you 100%. I really am.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. I don't know about for you guys. I know we discussed on different podcasts that number one was easy. I feel like for me, the top three were easy. And then from right there, just doing a bunch of research and finding which order to go with, 10 through 4.
Yeah, you said that when we were finishing up our season preview pod, and I wasn't sure when you said it. And then when I sat down and looked at it, I was like, "Oh, I think I know exactly where he's coming from."
uh,
I think we're going to have the same top three.
I'm thinking.
uh, that would be a first.
Although I don't think our two and three are going to be the same. I think they're going to be switched from what I have.
See, I was wondering because that's where the 2 and 3 is variable a little more
Yep.
than maybe. Yeah, so I can't wait to see where we when we get there. That's awesome.
Same names, but they might be flip flopped.
I love it.
Okay, that's interesting. Um, yeah, before we start, Al, you said you wanted to do something before we start our list?
Yeah, thanks, man. So, I found a really interesting study done by Bill James about relief pitchers, and the reason, like, I found first of all, there's a really interesting stat. Did you guys realize that Billy Wagner makes going into the Hall of Fame this year makes only 8 relief pitchers in the history of the game in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. It's
Isn't
not a
that
lot.
something? That is
Mhm.
less than every other position by an exponential amount.
Yeah, because they got disrespected for a very long time.
100%. And also the other the with and to I guess to say the other side of it is the relief pitcher wasn't really even in the game much for the first 30, 40, 50 years of the game. So there was that too, but I'm with you. It was the big disrespect for a long time, and that's the biggest reason. So all that being said, Bill James did a study in 2017, and I'm just going to read one paragraph about it. I found very interesting. In 2017, cybermetric pioneer Bill James tested whether championship teams were more likely to have top 10 closers than top 10 players at other positions. James considered the period from 76 to 2016 when relief pitching assumed its modern form. He was shocked to find top 10 closers on 31 out of 40, by the way, World Series champions. That's 31 top 10 closers out of 40 champions, significantly more than any other position. According to James rankings, the average World Series champion had the 8th best closer in baseball in a given year. No other position averaged better than 10th place. And this is a quote from Bill James, the proposition that to win a world championship, you need a great closer, and that a great closer is more important than a great player at other positions appears to be true. Now, that is the exact opposite of the disrespect the position has been given over all these years. So I thought that was really fascinating. I thought that would be a fun way to start this whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally agree. That's
that is
cool.
very fascinating.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah,
And it's fascinating and not surprising to me.
I agree. Well, you guys being Yankee fans know, you saw it. So it's, I mean,
Yes.
I'm so with you. It is clear to me too, and I don't like some of the modern stuff of flopping around with closers and stuff. It kind of drives me crazy.
I agree. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, there's my opening tangent.
All right. Well, that's very interesting. I like that. Thank you for actually sharing that.
Right on.
Um, so you guys ready to do top 10 closers?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right. So my number 10, um, not really a well-known closer, but I had to show him some love. just because of what he did. Fascinating stat by him. He didn't become a closer until his fourth year in the big leagues, and then and that was just in 2002, and in a period of almost 2 3 years was one of the dominant closers of that era. And I'm going with a guy who we talk about records. That this record will never be broken. I'm going to show some love to Eric Gagne.
Ah, nice, nice. Yeah, single season save record, right?
No, he actually had a record.
Or the consecutive streak. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
most consecutive saves ever, which lasted from August 28th of 2002 to July 5th of 2004,
That's crazy. I
which was
remember
an
that.
84 consecutive saves record.
He was on my honorable mentions, but his 2003 might be the best year a closer's ever had. I'm just going to go over just a couple things. 55 saves, an ERA of 1.20, a whip of 0.69, and 15 strikeouts per nine.
That's crazy.
Insane. 82 innings with a total of 114 strikeouts, or I'm sorry, 137 strikeouts. Yeah,
Yep.
55 saves. That is one of the best closer years of all time. Like you said, though, Jordan, it was like a 3 year span, and then, like a lot of relievers do, he just fell off a cliff. It was never the same.
Yes, I agree.
His
Yes.
his
Yeah.
la- his ending ERA is 3.47,
Yeah,
Which yeah,
which is
and
way
yes,
too
and
high for any closer.
yeah, and it, like you said, this is a common thing in the closer world. You know, I mean, not listen. He reached a height that almost nobody ever reached in that one year. Nobody ever reached it. Where or that stretch of time where he didn't blow a save for 84
Yeah,
games or
he
whatever.
had he had 52, 55, and 45 saves 3 years in a row, and then never got over 16 after that.
Yeah, yeah, that was a massive. I mean, we're talking. You know, this is the Gale Sayers thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
yeah, and also like no one ever is gonna touch that most consecutive saves. The last guy to actually challenge for him was Zach Britton in 2015, but he went only 54.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
So
yeah,
just think about that for a minute. Like like you don't really see that often now in today's game where a guy is just consistent for that many games in a row.
no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That really is. I have a hard time seeing that one being broken too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll never be broken.
Yeah.
yeah, but like I said, numbers not really up there, but just because of what he did in a matter of 3 years, I had to show him some love. I had to give him some credit.
Right
Yeah,
on, man. Yeah, that's
his
great.
war is only his war is only 11.72, which is why I didn't put him on the list. But
Yeah,
It's
he
that's
was in
totally
my
fair.
he
yeah.
was in my honorable mentions.
All right. So whoever wants to go next, be my guest.
Greg, feel free, man.
All right, I have one as well that's kind of borderline. I can definitely swap him out for about 7 or 8 other guys. So, but I just landed on him, and it's surprising to me that I landed on him because I hate him so much, and I hate his stupid face, the stupid look he gives on when he clenches his lips together. And of course, I'm talking about Papelbon.
Oh,
Y'all know what I'm
Wow.
talking about,
Okay.
the way he does that little donut fucking thing that he does. I'm sorry for swearing.
yes.
That little donut hole he does with his mouth.
That's so awesome. Real quick though, Craig, when you said stupid face, I went right to John Rocker.
Oh yeah, he's another one. Um,
That's so awesome.
but yeah, Papelbon, I really hate him, but his numbers are pretty impressive. He had 368 saves, 244 ERA, and a 104 WHIP. Really good, one of the best WHIPs on my list. There's a few people lower, but not many. And he's got 10 strikeouts per nine. And I'll give him his due. He was pretty good. And even though I hated him, I can't deny that he was pretty good.
That is a completely fair assessment on both his pitching prowess and his stupid face.
Stupid face. I hate when he would look at the catcher and he put that dumb look on. I wanted to punch him.
That's so awesome. Oh, that was my favorite introduction to anybody who ever did.
But so there's my number 10.
I love it. Yeah. No, he's
Yeah.
not on my list. He is on my honorable mentions.
Same here. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like for me, he was forgotten, kind of. Just because I mostly known him for like his later years. Obviously, with Washington and
No, I'm talking
like
almost exclusively from his Red Sox years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he did have some time with, that's actually one thing I forgot he played with Philadelphia.
He played with Philly for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I
didn't he
mean,
get into the fight with Bryce Harper?
That was with Washington.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was with Washington. That's
Yeah,
right.
but even even still though, yeah, like he, I mean, he is up there. I mean, I guess if his numbers were a little bit better, he would have um considered one of the tops. But I don't know. I always forget about Papelbon. I don't know why.
Yeah, listen to this streak of saves years. Starting in '06. 35, 37, 41, 38, 37, 31, 38, 29, 39, 24.
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
hard for a good stretch there, and he
That's pretty
retired
good.
relatively young for a closer at
Yeah,
35. So he
yeah,
stopped accumulating stats a lot sooner than most of these guys.
yeah, and he
Um,
had a lot of strikeouts too.
he sure did. I know he
yeah.
was very in his prime. He was dominant. He really was.
Yeah, and his WAR was 23.3.
Yeah, which is on par with the back end of last like 4 or 5 people on my list, maybe.
Yeah,
You know what I
20.
mean?
It's right there with all of them. You're right.
Exactly. There's a clump of people in the low to mid 20s that you could go with a ton of people.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah, he was an honorable mention for me if I didn't say that already.
yep. Cool.
All right. Well, now, continuing the theme of people that may or may not be on people's lists, this guy has another record, and this made it easy for me to put him on the list. Also, he got quite a massive amount of saves, made it easy to put him on the list too. Maybe you could probably argue he could be higher, honestly, but he's number 10 on my list. He's number 1 in my heart because he helped me win a fantasy championship when he set that record in '08. That another one that'll be tough to beat. 62 saves in one season. K Rod, Frankie Rodriguez.
Nice. Yeah, he's way higher up on my list.
Right on, and I understand that for sure.
He is number 5 on my list.
Right on, right on. Yeah, and honestly, that's the spot where everything changes for me. I won't swap anybody out 1 through 4, but I would swap anybody out 10 through 5.
Yep, yep. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. Part of the reason is his 10.5 strikeouts per nine is the second highest on my list.
Yeah, it was surprising to find that there weren't higher strikeout numbers on this list. I expected it from the older days, but I expected to find a few higher numbers on this list, and I didn't. That was surprising to me,
Yeah, I agree. But he
and
was
that's a great
awesome.
point.
I mean, not 437 saves, a
Yep.
24.2 WAR.
Yep. And I'm going to start bringing this up because I loved it. It was one of my favorite things back in the day. They used to talk about it on This Week in Baseball all the time, and it's not around anymore. But he was a 2-time Rolaids relief winner.
Yes, he was the relief player of the year.
I love that. Was so awesome. It's since been replaced and named after 2 people that we'll get to later in each league. But we won't name them yet. But it was the Rolaids relief from '76 to I think 2016 or something like that.
The relief man of the year.
I love it. How do you spell relief?
That was great.
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
go
For
ahead.
me, no. If I was to say for me, he did not make my list. Definitely an honorable mention. Just because like his later years, like I said, he just got hurt, and he was just never the same again after his time with the Angels.
Yeah, I got him all the way up to five. I have him. I don't know. I just remember seeing him just dominate all the time. Maybe it was because his numbers against the Yankees are dumb, but
Yeah.
whatever the reason was, I was frightened of him.
Yeah, no, dude, that's funny, man. And I will
He was
say, I
so
think
good.
if you look at the numbers post Anaheim, because I had a little bit of that same impression in my head, and I was surprised to find he was just as good after. He really was. It surprised me. And he never had 62 saves again, but he played with Milwaukee and the Mets from his
Yeah,
age 27 to 33 seasons. And he had one really bad year at age 30. He had a 4.38 ERA, but he was never higher than and one other where he's 3.71. Okay, so two bad years for sure. But he had one year, 2011, where he had an ERA of 1.86.
yeah. He had a 1.73 in 2006. He had a
One
stretch. He had like
1.09. Oh,
yeah.
that was just half the year though. That was just half the year.
It was two. It was like two separate stretches. He had the stretch with Anaheim when he was 23 years old, 45 saves, 47 saves, 40 saves, then 62. Goes to the Mets, gets 35, and then years later, when he's 32 years old, in 2014, he comes back with another 44 saves, then
Yep.
38, and then 44 again at 34 years old.
It's wild. It was a really incredible renaissance he had there. Yeah, that's wild, man. Yeah, because going into this, I had the same impression. I really did, Jordan. Like it was like, oh, this guy was awesome with Anaheim, and then just faded out, you know. But then, I was surprised when I looked at the numbers because he went through a stretch where he didn't have more than like 10 saves for like 5 years, or
Yeah.
Right.
three or
Yeah.
4 years. So yeah. So anyway, fascinating case. I understand him not being on the list. I understand him being at 5 for Craig. He was 10 for me. You can make a good case for all of that.
Yeah, 123 strikeouts in 2004 in
Mm,
84 innings. I mean, I was surprised, like you said about the Ks, that there's not a higher number for a lot of these guys like K per nine.
I
I
agree.
would
Yep.
figure we'd be in like the 12 and 13 numbers, and there's nobody. Nobody's even
Nobody.
11. Or no, there's
Nobody.
one guy. One guy's 11.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's so it was very surprising to me, and I think as I'm sorry, phone fell. As the next 10, 20 years of closers retire, those numbers will be there, but not yet. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, 286 career ERA, 1.15 career whip, 437 saves. That's a boatload, like you said,
Yeah,
and 10.5 Ks per nine.
yeah, man, and 3 times save leader.
Yep.
Yep.
All right,
All right. Oh, this is fascinating. I like this list so far.
I do too. This is awesome.
All
Jordan,
right.
you're up. That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
going to number 9 now, and we're already starting with a nickname.
Ooh,
Probably could guess it because kind of similar to his thing. But I'm going with his nickname is Quiz. We're gonna
Oh,
go with Dan Quisenberry for number 9.
he was one of the hardest people to leave off for me. He's one of my top honorable mentions and one of my favorite guys ever because I love Submariners.
yep. Same thing on my honorable mention.
I love that he made your list, Jordan. Talk about him. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, numbers. Well, you said the submarine pitcher. Um, his ERA is 2.76. 244 saves. 300. Oh yeah, I think I did the strikeouts right. No, yeah, 379 strikeouts. Um, and here's the other thing, which I didn't notice. I've always known Quisenberry as a relief pitcher and a closer, but in the minors, uh, actually was a starter. But the only reason he got called up to Kansas City was because they had such a bad bullpen, so they just threw him in the bullpen because he was dominated in the minor leagues.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man,
which I didn't know. So I'm like, oh, that's a very interesting. Um,
that's really interesting.
yeah, But yeah, and then also lead the leagues in saves. What, one, two, three, four, 5 times?
Yeah,
He's
man.
lead the leagues in saves.
He won that roll age thing a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was doing it with a lot more innings pitched than now. He was
Big
getting a lot of
time.
three inning saves, 128 innings, 136, 139, 129, 129. No reliever today has that, and a lot of the people on this list don't have that.
yeah.
Agreed.
Even
It's a really interesting case between new school and old school closers. It's fascinating.
like
Yep.
even the games he played, like there's some games like he what 75, 72, 69, 72, 84, 62. Just coming out of the bullpen, he even played in
Yeah.
a lot of games, which, like you said,
Another guy who fell off a cliff though, 33 years old, was never the same.
right? Yeah,
And that happens a lot in the old days too because of those innings.
Yep, yep.
yep.
He went from 81 in 1986 to 49, 63, 25, 38, 78, and then 6 he was done. But he had like a lot of these guys, he had a great run.
Yeah, man, he's one of my favorites ever. I loved and that Kansas City team with George Brett and him is one of my favorite ever. That wasn't a Philly team, and yeah, he was a beast. He was an
I
absolute
didn't
beast.
realize the low strikeout numbers though.
Yeah,
Wow.
oh, super low. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
which is why he was a sinker baller, so he was a ground ball pitcher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, extreme gram. Well, 129
Extreme.
innings and 41 strikeouts.
Yeah, man. Oh, dude, he. There's only I think there's one other guy that we'll get to pretty soon on my list anyway that is in that same category. And It's fascinating the with different ways you can get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's really
His
interesting.
strikeouts per nine are 3.3.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's the lowest I think that of anybody on this list. I have one guy who's close that'll be on my list, but
But his WAR is right there, 24.6. Another
exactly.
one of these
Now
guys right in that same range.
that's higher than K Rod by
Yes, it
point
is.
0.4.
Yes,
yes,
it is.
So like we're splitting hairs here, like we always are, and I love it. I'm glad he made somebody's list. This is so cool, and this is the only guy that is not on my list that I have. One thing I want to read real quick, if you don't mind.
hmm
I didn't realize until doing this research what a character Dan Quisenberry was. I didn't realize he was a quote machine. Um, First, a quote about him. This is from what is this from? Oh, this is from Saber again. This is the opening paragraph of their page on Dan Quisenberry. There never was, and maybe never will be, a major league pitcher quite like Dan Quisenberry. He literally and figuratively came out of nowhere. Because he was a right handed submariner, hitters had to turn their heads to pick up his pitches as they materialized out of the third baseman's jersey and shot across the plate with a cartoonish sink.
Wow.
Is that the best way to describe a pitch ever? And then a couple Quisenberry quotes. Um, I found a delivery in my flaw.
What?
I've seen the future, and it's much like the present, only longer.
What?
Our fielders have to catch a lot of balls, or at least deflect them to somebody who can.
Wow. I didn't realize this either.
And then this is the last one. It goes on and on. There's a ton, but make this the last one. This is talking about the strike in 1981. Strikes are real life. It took up 7 weeks of real time. That's a fifth of a pregnancy.
Oh my god.
So I'm going to be reading up on Quisenberry quotes because I missed that while he was playing. I was too young, I guess.
Oh, here's something interesting. I didn't know that. I was just doing this. He actually went to the submarine pitching because in college, he had a tear in his arm.
Isn't that something?
That is
Wow.
very interesting. Holy cow!
And back then, instead of getting it fixed, you just either stopped playing or you adapted.
Yeah, and that he did.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Oh, all right. Craig, you want to go with your number nine?
Sure. My number nine is the most surprising man on this list that I would not have put on here if I did not do the research to find him and realize how great he was. And that is Joe Nathan.
He
Wow.
was another one of my top honorable mentions, and I wasn't expecting to even consider him. I
No,
never even
not
thought
at
about him.
all.
Yep.
But my God,
Yeah.
he's top 10 in saves all time with
Yep.
he's got 377 saves. He's got a 2.9 career ERA, 2.98, 1.2 career whip, 10 Ks per nine. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong guy.
Oh, no worries.
2.87 ERA, 1.12 whip, and 9.5 strikeouts per nine, 377 saves. Another one of these war guys at 26.4, six All Star games. He was one of the most dominant closers for a decade,
Yep.
really. And yeah, got to the World Series. World Series, his postseason numbers don't look great, but they only threw 10 innings, no big deal. And top 10 saves all time in his ERA, FIP, and WHIP are all rival the best closers of any era.
No doubt. He's legit 100%. He was on the outside looking in on the honorable mention on my list, but you could make a case for him anywhere up to number 5 as far as I'm concerned for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, so surprising. I never would have thought. I never even considered him when I was just thinking about this before I did any research.
Right there
And then
with you,
I'm
Craig.
seeing him pop up on all these lists. I'm like, what, Joe Nathan? And then you look into it, it's like, oh my God, he's absolutely deserves to be on there.
I agree. Everything you just said, 100%. I back with it. Right there with you.
Oh yeah. Not. I agree. So I'm even looking at it, and I want to know because I'm. Well, they're missing a year here on Baseball Reference. I think that's when he got hurt. But I'm keeping going on. If he didn't get hurt, he had what 6 straight years of 30 saves or better.
36 saves was the lowest.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
and what
And then
2010 he got
yeah,
got hurt.
and then 2011 he comes back after the injury. He had Tommy John surgery.
Right.
Comes back after the injury, gets 14 saves, and then goes on another run of 37, 43, and 35 again.
And
It's
one of
just
his most
insane.
impressive feats might be figuring out a way to save 35 games when he had an ERA of 4.81.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That was the
crazy.
last. That was obviously that was he was 39 years old, by the way. That year he saved 35 games at 39 years old.
Yeah, but
That's
the year before, 38 years old, his ERA was 1.39.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Yeah, I didn't realize how good he was. Holy cow.
Look how many.
Me
Oh my
neither.
God! I just saw this. Look how many years he had an ERA under 2.
Yeah, 1.62, 1.58, 1.88, 1.33.
That's 5 years of ERAs under 2.
Yeah. Holy cow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and always a strikeout guy, 89, not a huge number, but when you're at 68 innings with 95 Ks, that's a lot.
If you're doing more than one per inning, you're a big strikeout guy. You're not maybe
Right.
elite like a Aroldis Chapman in his prime or something, but you're a good strikeout guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up with 9.5 Ks per nine. So right just over one per inning.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no, his numbers are insane. Yeah, that I'm glad he made your list, Craig, because that's a. I mean, he was one of the more surprising people that I came
Yeah.
across doing
Like I
this
said, I
research.
never even considered him when I was just
No,
thinking about it before
coming
I
into it, I'm with you 100%.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Jordan, I don't know if you said was he honorable mention for you or where do you have him?
But no, I really didn't consider him, and
And I
uh,
understand that. I do.
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally get it. Cool. All
Yeah.
right,
So
man.
yeah, good pick. I like that one.
I love it. All right. My number 9. Now, this guy, this is another one of my favorites from the old days. And there's a little special connection for me here because this dude is from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is where I'm from. And We knew about him. I knew about him from the time I set foot on the way. There were two guys from Lancaster that made the big leagues that are a little older than me, and that's Bruce Suter and Tommy Herr. And Bruce Suter is number 9 on my list.
He's
And it
number
is
7
Suter,
on my
not
list.
Sutter.
He's number
Well,
7 on my list.
I love it, Craig. I love it.
Oh yeah,
And
he's my number 7 as well.
oh, I love it. I love it. Very cool. He this guy did not invent the split finger, but he was the first pitcher to use it in the bigs. He was taught it by a guy named Fred Martin, who was the Cubs minor league pitching instructor, and he helped make this pitch famous. Him and Roger Craig, the pitching coach for the Giants, are the two guys most responsible for the split finger fastball being a massive thing in baseball. He's also one of the few guys on this list that won a Cy Young. He won a Cy Young in 1979,
Yep.
6-time All Star, won a World Series with the Cardinals in 82. His ERA and whip are great, 2.83 and 1.140. He has exactly 300 saves, so he likes symmetry. I
Yep.
appreciate
And,
that.
and exactly a 24.0 war.
Oh, that's right. Good call. Good call. Yes. Yes. Speaking of symmetry, love it. Um, He is also one of the few guys on this list, too, that has 0 games started in his entire career.
Wow.
He was a reliever from the day he popped into the major leagues.
All right.
Nice.
I have a favorite stat by him.
Please.
He set a record by having recording at least one strikeout per appearance for 39 straight games.
I was going to bring that up. That's so. And how long did it last and who finally broke it? Did you see that?
2014, and Aroldis Chapman broke it.
Boom. Boom. Love
But
it.
it
That's
lasted
awesome.
for from, I believe it was it 77 or 76?
You're correct. 77 to 2014. That
It's
is
a long
quite a
time
run.
for a record to hold that long.
That is an incredible run. And it took a guy like Aroldis Chapman to break it. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody was flame throwing more than that guy in his prime. That was insane. Yeah, incredible,
Yeah,
incredible.
Hall of Famer, pioneer of the modern closer, it says here, and he's absolutely right.
100%, man. 4-time roll age relief. 5-time lead the league leader in saves, if I can spit that out. And yeah, and like I said, he's big in my town. He is beloved in Lancaster because you don't get many Hall of Famers coming from your hometowns.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Was he on your list, Jordan?
Yeah, no, he was my number 7.
Oh, okay, okay. Yep, yep. Mine as well. Okay.
Nice, nice, very cool, very
Yeah.
cool. And again, another great, really cool delivery of the ball too. It wasn't a submarine, but it was kind of like he
Oh,
came from different arm slots and he was all over the place, and it was fun to watch, man.
oh
Cool.
yeah, I've seen clips of it. That's awesome.
All right, man. Jordan number 8, I guess.
Yep, and I'm gonna go with a guy who just got into the Hall of Fame. My number 8's gonna be Billy Wagner.
So we have the same number 8 and 7 because my number 8 is also Billy Wagner.
Okay,
Well, I'm going to join the club too because my number 8 is also Billy Wagner.
Wow.
really? Wow. I think that's the first time we've ever had that hasn't been number 1.
That's awesome.
Really, that's awesome. Yeah, but what can you say about the guy? 422 saves. Um, Interesting fact, which I think everyone knows, but I'll just say anyway. Broke his his right hand at age 7, and then taught himself how to pitch left. Um,
That's crazy to me. I
right. Um, he during the time when he played was the 5th pitcher to reach the 400 mark. Um, he is also second in saves by a lefty behind John Franco.
Yep.
So I thought that was very interesting too.
that
And
is.
then also, I think I got this right. I'll double check, but also 8th all time in saves on the list.
Yeah, he finished with a 27.7 war, 422 saves. That's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And the highest K per nine on the list, 11.9, almost 12K per nine. That's the highest on my list anyway. In even my
Yep.
honorable mentions, that's the highest.
Yeah, right there with you, Craig. That's something I was waiting to talk about with Billy, and I'm glad you brought it up because he was a flamethrower. And he's also, I'm not 100% on this, but I would bet he's probably the smallest guy on this list too. He was
Yeah.
a he was
Probably.
I think he's listed at 5'10", which probably means he's 5'8". You know what I mean? And he would just go out there and just flip. And when he was in Philly, the whole like he got a little annoyed about it, but Philly got obsessed with him trying to hit 100 miles an hour, and they would go crazy every now and then when he did it. And he's at best he's 5'10". He's flame throwing, man. He's the only guy I think. I'm almost positive I'm right about this, that he is the only guy on my list with a whip under 1.998.
Wow.
Well, there should be one other guy with that with a whip lower under one.
You might want to look at who you're talking about because I think it's exactly one.
Hmm.
Uh,
Also,
Unless you're
I'll have
talking
to
about
look it up.
somebody else that I'm not thinking of.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, cool.
um, also here's something interesting. His 38th season, after going a year, with the Mets in Boston with no saves, he finished his career with 37 saves at age 38.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
What a run of look at this. He goes 30, 39. Then he only has six because he got hurt, had elbow surgery. Then comes back with 39, 35, 44, only 21, then 38, 40, 34, 27.
Yep.
Did you
It's a
see
hell of
his
a run.
ERA in his last year?
1.43.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
come on. His last season at 38 years old, he saves 37 games, has the ERA you just said, and had a whip of .865.
Unbelievable.
And you know what he did then? He said, screw it. I'm going to go raise alpacas,
yeah. Yes.
which he's still doing to this day, according to what I
Uh huh.
found.
Yep.
And if you Google Billy Wagner alpacas, it comes up immediately that Billy Wagner is big in the alpaca community.
Wow.
Which
Yeah. He said that his time. Well, I don't remember how long ago, but there's a clip of him still playing, and he's saying like, if this doesn't work out, I want to raise alpacas.
dude, he was raising them while he was in the bigs. When he came to Philly, they did a human interest, one of those go to Billy Wagner's house and look at his, Cy Young awards or whatever, not, you know what I mean? Like whatever he
Yeah.
has in his award chest. They did that, but they went and hung out with us at his alpacas.
That's awesome.
It
Yeah.
is very awesome.
So no wonder he's big in the alpaca community. He's been at it for a long time.
Yep. Also, he's also a baseball coach too for his local high school
I
or
saw that. Isn't that cool?
yeah, which was is actually it's kind of crazy because his son is actually on that team. So well, and I think his son's actually a pitcher if I'm not mistaken, or at least one of his sons are. So
His 1999 was ridiculous.
Oh my God, yeah.
1999. Oh yeah. Yep.
157 ERA, 39 saves, 124 strikeouts in 74 innings.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
he was dominant.
That's amazing. He actually finished 16th in the MVP voting that year, which is almost unheard of for a reliever.
And fourth in Cy Young.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
his whip that year was 0.77.
Oh, he was something, man.
14.9 Ks per nine.
That's freaking outrageous. Outrageous, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yep.
something, man. He was something. He was really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Love it.
All right. So now that was all of our number eights, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Al's 7, right?
Is that where we're at? Cool. Let's do it. All right. Now,
Yeah, because
boy,
my,
man.
my seven was taken. My seven was Suter.
Oh, and so
and
was mine. So
so
yeah.
was Jordan. So that's why we're on my 7. Okay, okay, cool. So all right, man. Well, we are in this interchangeable, and I'm pretty sure this guy. I would be willing to bet he's on both your lists, but we'll see. Um, War of 25.6, 7-time All Star, won a Cy Young and MVP in 1981, and arguably the greatest mustache in the history of the game. And his nickname that I had never heard before, the Handlebar Hero, Raleigh
Yeah.
Fingers.
I love Raleigh Fingers. He is on my list. No, I'm sorry, he's in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure 100% because he's definitely on the cusp or could be.
Wow.
Jordan,
He is my number 4.
love it.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's so strange how we have guys that I have a guy number 5 is not on Jordan's list. He has a guy number 4 that's not on my list at all. It's so funny.
And it's understandable because if you, especially if you just take everything else out of the equation and just look at war, the back half of this list, including the first 10 or so honorable mention guys, are almost all somewhere between 20 and 25 or 6.
Yep, and that obviously wasn't the only thing I looked at, but
No, and it's not for
it
me
was,
either.
but it was definitely a factor.
For sure. And it's it's something that it's an imperfect method to quantify an unquantifiable thing. You know what I mean? But it gives us something tangible to look at, and it's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Raleigh. I mean, he's more than just the best mustache ever. He, like I said, 7-time All Star. He won the freaking. He's one of a very small group of people to ever win a Cy Young and MVP. He is a 4-time Rolaids relief winner. And by the way, he would have won a lot more because he played for 8 seasons before they invented the Rolaids thing. um, 3-time World Series champ. He was the closer on that A's dynasty 72, 73, 74. And I was watching him play, again, Craig, you and I being the same age, it's funny how I didn't realize certain players how far into their careers they were when I was seeing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw him at the back end of his career.
This guy started pitching in 1968, Craig.
Yeah,
Like,
that's 7 years
I mean,
before I was born.
yeah, we saw him when he was ancient, you know? I mean, I wasn't really aware of baseball until about 1980, and I was still really young. I was only because the Phillies were in the World Series and was I kind of aware of it. So I mean, I got glimpses of him, but not. Yeah, but and again, again, talk about guys who were great until almost his last season. He was terrible at 38 years old. He had an ERA over 5. But right before that, 1.96 at 37 years old. Saved 23 games. The save numbers were smaller during his time too, but and a whip of 1.109. I mean, this guy, he was something else, man. He's one of my favorites to watch ever.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I do wish that I was around enough to see him, but
Yeah, I wish
in
I
his
saw a little
prime.
more prime.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the numbers are there. The numbers are right there with anybody else. 25.6 were, like you said. So he's right there. And he was on my honorable mentions. I did write all his stats out and everything. And then when I just did the list, he just didn't make it. But he definitely could have. As I've been saying, and as you've been saying, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all those could be interchangeable pretty much
Yeah,
for
all the
me.
way to like 15 or 17, maybe even,
Yeah.
that we obviously aren't going that far, but yeah, I'm with you 100%. And two more things I want to throw out about Raleigh. I guess one main thing. We talked about it with one of the other guys, was it Suter maybe, about the innings pitched? Quisenberry. Um,
Yep.
Check this out. As the closer, Raleigh Fingers did not pitch less than 111 innings from 1969 to 1977.
Wow.
And then until the last 2 years of his career, he never pitched less than 78 innings. There's
By the
very
way, him and Goose have like the highest innings pitched on my list by anybody by far, other than one other guy who was a starter for a long time.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that, He has 1,553 innings pitched, and Goose has 1,578, and that's it. Everybody else is well below that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
again, the stat thing, Craig, I have Raleigh at 1,701.
What's going on? I have him at 1,553.
Are you on Baseball Reference? It's really going to wig me out if we're looking at the exact same thing and it's different again.
Yeah, I'm on baseball. That's where I got the numbers from. And the guy that you were talking about earlier, where I said his ERA was below, his WHIP was below one.
Uh
You were
huh.
right. His WHIP is 1.00.
Exactly, because
I
that's why
looked
it's
it
stuck in
up.
my head. Yeah.
So
No, I got 1701.
Okay.
let me see where how the hell where am I getting this from? Yeah,
Stats.
1701. You
Okay.
know
All
what?
right.
Maybe I didn't get it from there, and maybe
Is
the
it from
starter.
Stat Muse by any chance? I've had some very I've stopped using Stat Muse because
No,
I've had so
it's
much.
pitcher list.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I never heard.
All good. And by the way, for the listeners, I texted you guys about this. For the listeners, we were going roundabout about Babe Ruth's WAR when we did I guess it would have been our outfielder list. And the reason we didn't have the number right is because we didn't add the batting WAR to the pitching WAR. That's why we were off.
Right.
Two different numbers. If you could play both, you get them both.
Okay, yeah. Pitcher list has Raleigh Fingers innings pitched at 1553.
Yeah, see, this is what that drives me crazy because that's you would think a reasonable list. I'm gonna go. I now go with Baseball Reference overall, but hopefully they're right. I don't know.
Yeah. Uh,
Either way, it's a lot of damn innings for a reliever.
yeah. No, honestly. Actually, you guys mind if I share a quick story with you? Because
Please.
I find this funny. So, what would you guys say if I told you Raleigh Fingers never wanted to grow out a mustache?
That's funny. Tell me
Here's
more.
so here's the thing. When he was with Oakland, the owner, I forgetting his name around that time, um, he said we need we need something to wake this Oakland team up. I guess this is around the time they were about to win the World Series or they just missed. He goes, so I'll pay anyone 300. Oh wait, hold on, I gotta think of it. Yeah, 300 $300 bonus if you guys grow a mustache, and that's why he grew a mustache.
That's hilarious. It's Charlie Finley, by the way, who's one of the more famously eccentric owners. Oh, that is awesome! He did it for a bonus, and it's great. That's like the exact opposite of the famous Yankee fate. You would get fined if or whatever, or not even allowed. I don't know what they would do because nobody would do it. But but you famously were not allowed to with the Yankees for a long time. But you're encouraged by Charlie Finley. That's awesome.
Yep. So I thought that was funny. I'm like that's he did it for a $300 bonus.
That's so awesome. That is the mustache bonus.
Talk about the relievers with a lot of innings. He averaged 125 innings
That's
per
crazy.
season
Yeah.
over the first decade of his career.
That's crazy. I mean, there's nothing like that anymore. Like I'm looking, I'm trying to find right now. Who do either you remember off the top of your head who led the league in saves last year in either league?
Um.
I can't think of it.
Was
Uh,
Devin Williams up there?
Oh, Emmanuel
no.
Clace. Let's go with Clace.
Oh,
Oh,
Class
yeah.
A.
Class A. Sorry. Keep it Class A, San Diego.
Yeah, you stay classy.
uh.
Yes, Class A had a ton of saves last year.
And I'm trying to find. Okay, I got it now. Here we
Oh.
go.
Yeah. If you want to go on, Class A had the most saves for the AL, and Ryan Helsley had 49.
Oh yeah,
Class
man.
A pitched 74 innings last year,
Yep.
which is, I think, the lowest amount. That's lower than the lowest amount Raleigh ever pitched until his last two seasons in the league.
Hell,
Yep.
while you're on that, Ryan Helsley only pitched 66.
There you go. And that's more common. I think the less innings is more common. Um, oh, I'll give you there's some examples of closers that pitch in the 50s, like great closers that pitch in the 50s. So yeah, it's a fascinating way that the whole position has changed over time,
Yeah, it's
and guys like
nuanced.
Raleigh Fingers aren't going to exist ever again, and it's cool that they did at one point.
It's nuanced. His relief numbers, his playoff numbers are still pretty good too. I'm looking at those right now. 2.35 career ERA in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was pretty much himself, which is
Yeah,
which is
nine
what you want to
saves.
see. You know,
Yep, 9 saves in 21. I think 30 games. Not he had 9 saves. They didn't win them all, obviously. And one year he had 18 innings pitched in the playoffs with a 0.98 ERA in 1973 when
that's
Oakland won
incredible,
it.
incredible. Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah, and
Yep.
you look at his Cy Young MVP year, which he did at 34 years old, by the way, in with Milwaukee in 1981. His ERA was 1.04. He saved 28 games. His WHIP was 0.872. I mean, good lord, like. And am I crazy, or wasn't 81 a strike year?
I think so.
So he put up 28 saves in a strike year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the best.
Incredible. Raleigh. Yep. Awesome. So
And
he was
and
my
and yeah, the
number
best the
7.
best mustache ever.
Yeah, for sure,
Oh,
for sure.
definitely. 100%.
Oh, you gotta love it.
So that was your number 7?
Correct.
All right, Jordan, go for 6.
All right. So my 6 is well, we just uh mentioned him while we were on talking about Raleigh Fingers. So my number 6 is gonna be Rich Goose Gossage.
Ah, love it. He's my number 5.
He is my number 6.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So 8, 7, and 6, Jordan, we have the exact same.
That's awesome.
That is really awesome. Um,
One of the highest wars on this entire exercise, by the
Yeah,
way, at 41.2.
41.2.
Yep.
yep. That's insane. Um, Also another guy with a mustache.
In my
Yeah.
notes, Jordan, I wrote other best mustache ever.
Oh man. Oh, here's an interesting quote I found for him. I forgot who said it, but I actually thought this was really funny when I found this quote. But one of his teammates said he's all arms and legs, and he's not looking at you. That doesn't make you feel good when he's throwing 100 miles per hour. I don't mind a guy throwing him 100 miles per hour if he's looking at you. And he goes, I'll tell you, it's a lot better to be playing right behind him.
That's awesome. That is awesome, man. Yeah, he looked like just like a wild man out there.
Yep. And then here's another thing. In '76, after being a starting pitcher, he got traded to the Pirates, where he began a 12-year streak of double-figure save totals.
Nice,
And in
nice. Yeah,
6 years with the Yankees, he had 150 saves, four-time course a four-time All-Star, 310 10 saves of his career. Yeah, Goose Gossage was definitely a beast around this time.
Yeah, 1,800 innings.
yeah,
Well, he was a
yep.
starter for one year. He started 29 games in 1976.
And that one year, by the way, he threw 224 innings.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like, yeah, dude, I'll chuck 224 innings for you this year. It's like it's gonna take like 4 years for them to ramp up Paul Skeens to that much, and they'll probably never let him hit that point anyway.
Probably not,
Yeah.
no.
200's
That's
the limit.
And
yeah,
he had what 135 strikeouts.
yeah, right.
Yep.
He
Yep.
was the
Not a
guy I
huge
was thinking
strikeout
of. I
guy.
think he was the guy I was thinking of, Craig, with the low strikeout per inning. I
Yep.
believe. Oh no, well, it's still 7.5. It's not down into Quisenberry territory. I thought there was somebody in the fours, but I don't know who I was thinking of.
That war though, 41.2 is big. It's a big deal.
It really is.
And I tell you, I figured out what's going on with my numbers that I got off of Pitcher List. They
Okay.
are giving the numbers specifically as a closer. So if they have any
Ah,
starts, they're not counted.
that makes sense. We ran into that before with
Mm.
like when I was trying to figure out RBIs out of position and they weren't counting Rod Carew at second base if he got an RBI in the outfield or something like that. So yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
So that's why Raleigh Fingers and I had different numbers for Goose Gossage as well, is because they made some starts and those innings were not counted.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. Very cool.
There. Yeah.
But yeah, his postseason numbers, like you said about the other guy, he was pretty much Goose Gossage, 2.87 ERA, 8 saves in 19 games, which is a pretty good percentage. And yeah, he was himself in the playoffs. No real difference. And a great whip.
Yes.
0.89 whip in the playoffs. Wow.
Yes. Super impressive. Super impressive. That was the case I found with most of these people on this list. The only two exceptions were Joe Nathan and Billy Wagner that I found.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And neither of them pitched a ton of innings. You know, I think they were both in the low like double digits, like 10 or 12 innings. You know what I mean? So it's not a mat like you can't just be like, oh, they sucked in the postseason forever because they had a tough 10 innings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Also,
before we move on from the Goose, I want to point out his just one of his seasons. The season after he was a starter, he he had a 1.62 ERA, pitched 133 innings. He saved 26 games. Now this guy who wasn't a big strikeout guy had 10.2 per nine that year. He had 151 strikeouts in 133 innings, and his whip was below one at .955. I mean, just a spectacular year. He had a couple like that over the course of his career, and then was just great for a long, long, long time.
Awesome.
yep. And,
Um, Obviously, he was a Hall of Famer too. And
yep.
Yes,
yeah.
took a
Also,
long time, but he got there as he should have.
Yeah, I don't
also
know why it took so long.
Because they hate relievers, man. They just
that's
Yeah,
true.
that's what
um,
we talked about earlier. The fact that they just
Another
underappreciate.
thing from that Bill James article, by the way, that was interesting that I didn't read earlier is he listed a guy who I didn't know this guy by name, but apparently he has good credentials if Bill James is referencing him, who did his top 100 players of all time. And just in reference to the disrespect of closers in general, there's only one guy in the top 100 that we'll be getting to eventually here on that guy's top 100 players of all time that's a closer. Only one player.
There's only
Now,
one.
yeah. Now, if you juxtapose that to Bill James' research about the importance of closers and 31 top 10 closers being on 40 championship teams and that being more than any other position by a lot, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just a grossly underappreciated position. And I think it's really cool we're doing this so we can give it the love.
Totally agree.
Yep.
Because it deserves it. That's for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, wait, now Goose was both of your number six. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So, let's go to my number six. And I'm guessing he might be both of your number fives or something because we'll see here. Now, this was a nickname, by the way, that I had never heard before, and it's a cool one. He was known apparently as the other guy, WAR of 28.9, and a save number that cannot be ignored 478. Lee Smith, also the scariest man I think I've ever seen on a pitching mound.
Lee Smith is my number 4.
Right on, right on. And I understand that entirely.
Hey, Al.
Yo,
He's my number 5.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it, man. I had a real hard time between Goose, Lee, and Raleigh. I had a real hard time with those three. I didn't know what order to put those three in, and I would have been fine with any of it.
Yeah.
This nickname, by the way, had you ever heard that either of you guys for Lee Smith,
No.
the other guy?
No, I
No.
didn't.
Okay. It came after a scout for the Dodgers came to see him play in high school, and he while he was looking at this other player that history doesn't remember, he saw Lee Smith pitch 11 innings.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said, "Who's the other guy?" And then he got on everybody's scout radar after that, and became a
He
second round draft pick of the Cubs.
he saved 25 or more games for 13 straight years.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
Wow.
He was top five. Now think about this for a reliever. Top five in the Cy Young voting 3 times.
Wow. The only thing that stinks is he didn't have much of a postseason career. He only
Twice
pitched.
maybe.
Yeah, he only made the playoffs twice, and he only hit pitched a total of five in the third innings. That's it.
That's a bummer because he was so good and he just never was on very good teams. He played with the Cubs for a long time, and we know their history of sucking. But before the last 15 years or so, and then who did he play with after that? The Red Sox, another team that didn't win a World Series for 100 years.
Yep. 478 saves though.
Yep.
It's
Wow.
incredible.
That
Great whip. I'm sorry. The only thing that was high was his whip. His whip was 1.25, which is one of the higher ones on the list.
Yeah, it was a bit of a high. He was a bit of a high wire act at times with Lee, but
Right.
but he closed the damn door down. You know what I mean?
Yes, he did. A lot more
you might
than most.
you might have guys leading off of second and third, but he closed that door down.
Yes, he did. 8.8 in strikeouts per nine.
Very good for his era, by the way, relative to some of the other guys.
Yep. Career ERA 3.03. So yeah, he
Just a
made.
beast. Led the league in saves 4 times.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Did
Here's
we
actually
say that he retired as the all-time save leader, and his total 478 that Craig mentioned is still third all-time?
Yep.
yes. He I was gonna actually bring that up, Al. He hold that record for 13 seasons.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Yeah, he.
Um
Whew.
yeah. And then also here's an interesting stat. Didn't know if you guys knew this, but he actually once went 546 straight games pitched without a fielding error.
Oh wow! I didn't
Wow.
realize he was the Greg Maddux of closers.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
I never knew that. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I found that stat out while I was doing the research. I'm like, huh, that is a very interesting stat that I have to put on my research.
I'm really glad you brought that up. I didn't see that, and that's a cool one.
All right.
Oh, here's a actually interesting. I know we were talking about him, but Kenley Jansen does have a shot to break that record to be third all time, which I didn't know he
Oh,
had the
no
most.
doubt. No, he's on it. He's coming. He's coming. He's screaming up on
Yep.
him.
So Lee Smith might be fifth. Oh.
I love it, man. That's awesome. So, all right. Well, that takes care of 6, and I know you said he was your 5. Jordan, do you have a 5 left, Craig?
No, that was K Rod.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Jordan, do you have a 4?
My 4 was taken. My 4 was Raleigh Fingers.
Okay. All right. And Craig.
My number 4 was Lee Smith.
Oh, now this is interesting. Because if our top 3s are what I think they are, then my number 4 didn't make either of your lists. So I love it. This is awesome.
Okay.
My number 4,
Mhm.
and a great nickname, Old Sarge, Hoyt Wilhelm.
On my honorable mentions, did not make it though.
Right on. And understandable.
But the reason why he almost made it is probably my number 1 honorable mention is because he's got a ridiculous 46.8 WAR.
yeah, exactly,
Wow.
exactly. It is the third highest of anybody that made my list.
It is. Oh yes, the third highest.
Now, Jordan, did you have him honorable mention or not at all? Or
No, this is actually the first time I'm actually hearing about this guy. So,
okay. All right. Well, get ready for some fun, and you're gonna want to look up this guy after we talk about him, because this guy is one of the more fascinating people in baseball history to me. First of all, we talk about credit that we've given to certain players, Ted Williams, and a few others that I can't think of right off the top of my head that lost time to a war service. Well, here we go. Hoyt Wilhelm debuted in Major League Baseball at 29 years old after earning a Purple Heart in World War II. He pitched his entire career with shrapnel in his back.
Damn.
I mean, come on,
Holy shit.
old Sarge. Let's go. Um, his rookie year in 1952, he led the league in games pitched, ERA, and winning percentage. 8-time All Star, 1954 World Series champ, 2-time ERA title in 52 and 59, played until he was 49 years old, only started 52 games in his entire career, one of the best and mid-level pioneer because the knuckleball people claim the knuckle said to have seen the knuckleball as late as the late 1800s, but this guy was the one of the first to make a career out of it. And now think about this: the knuckleball was his main pitch. His ERA 2.52, his WHIP 1.125. Do you know how hard it is to have a WHIP of 1.125 with a knuckleball as your main pitch?
Yeah, because you don't know where it's going.
Ask R.A. Dickey. Ask Phil Necro. Those are great knuckleballers. I don't think their whips compare. I should have looked at it, but I don't think so. um, and Phil Necro's a Hall of Famer, and I love him. Check this stat out: 228 saves. Okay, impressive, but not, that's not going to get him on the list just based on his saves. Here's what else is impressive. Keep in mind, again, only 52 games started. He wasn't much of a starter. 228 saves, 143 wins.
That's crazy.
Insane, right? I mean, come on. Dude, baseball, let me go to his baseball reference here.
I'm on it right now.
Now, look at the length of that career. He started in 1952 and didn't retire until the 70s.
Yeah, that's
And he
insane.
started at 29 years old.
29 years old, and he still pitched for 21 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, with shrapnel in his back.
Hey Al, you said his whip was what?
1.125?
All right, so here's for because you brought up the names.
Oh, yes, great.
R.A. Dickey had a 1.3 whip,
Okay, there you go.
and
Significantly.
Phil Necro had a 1.268.
And that's why Phil Necro's a Hall of Famer, and he was great. And Hoyt Wilhelms is still significantly better. That's
Well,
cool. Thank you for
actually, you
bringing
know
that
what?
up, Jordan. I thought I was right about that, but thank you for confirming it because I wasn't 100%.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's even better than Tim Wakefield as well.
yeah, this guy is. I mean, I don't think there. I think to me, he's the greatest knuckleballer of all time. Phil Necro is the greatest knuckleball starter of all time. This guy's the greatest knuckleballer of all time.
Yeah,
So yeah, this guy, man. I mean, I could go off on this guy for a long time. He's always been a fascinating guy to me. I always was fascinated with the knuckleball, and I couldn't wait to have an opportunity to talk about him. And I think again, I understand if he wasn't on your radar at all, and I understand having him at number 4 for myself. You know what I mean? So and anywhere in between. So all
yeah,
good. But Hoyt, old Sarge Wilhelm.
yeah. Right. That's a pitch they need to bring back. Someone needs to bring back the knuckleball.
Every now and then it comes back. Like R.A. Dickey.
Right.
But
Which I miss because that's because you bring it up that's around my time. R.E. Dickey and well later in his career, but in Tim Wakefield.
yeah, man. I love knuckleballers, man. It's such a pain in the butt for everybody that plays with them. You have to have the catcher has to have a special glove. They have to have a lot of times they're dragging a catcher around to wherever the pitcher plays because that's the only guy that can catch his pitch. But I don't care. I love it.
Right on.
All right.
All right. So, we're going with number 3 now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I'm willing to bet your number 3 is going to be my number 2.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where you're
All
heading with
right.
that, Craig.
Well, my number 3, I'm just gonna say it, is Dennis Eckersley.
That's what I thought it was going to be. And he is my number 2.
Right on. And he's my number 3 too. or three also to make that less confusing. But yeah, I went back and forth on this for a while, and we can talk about the reasons as we go. But I'm fine with it either way, honestly.
Right. Um. Yeah. Just definitely a very interesting dude. What 3.5 ERA, 390 saves. Uh, his WHIP was 1.161. Over 2,000 strikeouts, and I mean when he became a closer, when he got traded from to I think it was a time like was like around with Oakland.
Mhm.
He was just very very dominant, and you know we talked about dominant people. He was definitely one of them.
Oh, his like 86, 87, 88 years, 89 were insanely dominant. He was arguably the most dominant relief pitcher I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely one of the best. What from 88 to 92 didn't go under. Uh, well, I'll say like 32 saves. He had 32 saves or more. Or even actually 93. If you want to go, he had a record. Well, it was like 45, 31. I wait. Hope I'm reading the right. Actually, the right ones. No, yeah, I remember. 45, 33, 48, 43, 51, and 36 saves in that time span. Which, it, Jesus.
Amazing, amazing. I think I'm safe in saying too that he is the only person on any of our reliever lists that has made an All Star team as a starter.
Yep.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, he went 20-8 in 1978 as a starter. Pitched 268 innings.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That.
That's crazy. He didn't even become a closer until he was 32 years old,
Yeah,
and became one of the greatest closers of all time.
he started his career as the starter for 11 years. He was a
Yeah.
starter, and he was a good one.
Yeah, he really was. He had 2 years in a row where he was absolutely outstanding. He finished fourth and seventh in the Cy Young voting in 78 and 79.
Yep. I mean, some of his strikeouts are. Oh no, never mind. His strikeouts about one an inning. I think overall it turned out to be uh
I think
strikeouts per
6.6
nine,
per
six
nine.
point six. That's actually a little lower than I thought.
Yeah, well, he had in his prime as a closer, he was striking out over 10 for three per nine for 3 seasons in a row. But when he was a starter, he was not much of a strikeout guy.
Right now, when you talk about his WAR, it's 62.2, which is nuts, but
Yeah.
it's mostly because of his starting years.
Yeah, you can rack up bigger WAR number. Like those 2 seasons that I meant, like his best WAR, single season WAR as a closer was 3.3 in 1990. His those 2 seasons I mentioned where he's in the Cy Young voting were 7.3 and 7.2. So just the
Right.
nature of the position, you're going to accumulate more WAR. But yeah, so there's that for sure. I mean, one of the most interesting and best reinventions of oneself in any Major League Baseball career ever.
Yep. Although he did have the one failure in '88.
Yes, the Kirk Gibson man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But other than that,
Hey
he
man.
was amazing.
Yeah, he was something, man. He
And
really was.
I want and then yeah, that actually this is another thing that I've looked up. Um, like we said, it wasn't until like the A's where he became a closer. But that was actually all due to Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan. They convinced him to become a closer, and history right there. Repeat, just took off.
Yeah, well said, Jordan. That's exactly right. And talk about one of the more famous manager pitching coach combos of all time, and effective.
Oh, I Absolutely agree. Because
Uh,
I think he was even. I think that was even the same team or the same manager pitching coach combo when they went to the Cardinals.
yeah, it
Yep.
was. He took Duncan with him wherever he went. Yep.
Yeah. So
Absolutely, great call, great call. And one thing I want to lay out here about Mr. Eckersley, he's one again. We've had, I think, one other person. Correct me if I'm wrong. That had won the Cy Young and MVP. Eckersley being the second now on this list. Um, and that year was incredible. I mean, it really was. But I'm going to make a case it wasn't his best season, or maybe not even his. Maybe it might even be his third best season. But here's that season that was incredible. 1.91 ERA, 51 saves, 0.913 WHIP. Absolutely outstanding, right? But check this out. 1990, 1990, he had an ERA of 0.61.
Nuts.
His WHIP
that's
was
awesome.
0.614. And his WHIP the year before that was 0.607. Now, check this out. I was looking at that and I was like, that has to be some kind of record. Now, it was very hard to find because they kept giving me only starters. But eventually I found where they included relievers. And here's what I found out: those two seasons, 89 and 90 for Dennis Eckersley, are third and fourth all time for the lowest whip in any single season by any pitcher, starters and relievers.
Wow.
Wow.
1 and 2 are Jacob DeGrom in 2021 when he got hurt and only pitched 90. Well, when doesn't he get hurt? But he only pitched 92 innings. But when he went out, his whip was 0.55. And then the other one I never would have guessed in a million years, and that's Uehara in 2013. The reliever for the Red Sox had a .57 whip. But then it's Eckersley. Amazing.
Totally amazing. He actually he as a starter he won 20 games in 1977. In no, I'm sorry, in 1978, and he pitched no hitter in 1977.
I forgot about the no hitter. You're right. That's right.
Six-time All Star, of course, the Hall of Famer, and as of this writing, I don't know when this article was. He was ninth in saves with 390 career saves.
It's amazing that he was able to be such a dominant and great closer and accumulate the numbers he did, given that he didn't start doing it until he's 32. It's insane.
I just can't believe they made him a closer after because he was a good starter.
Yes, but he had been up and down. So there
He
it was
was, yeah,
like,
he was in a downward spiral. Plus, he was on like had a lot of problems with alcohol and stuff, and he went to rehab. And when he came back, is when he was the closer.
and and just the rehab alone, he probably would have been a great starter for another 5 years or so if they had decided to go that route. You know, just cleaning up his act, would have probably taken a couple points off that ERA. So yeah, it's interesting, and credit to Dave Duncan and Larusa because they certainly made a decision that worked out for them and him.
Yep.
Yep. I totally agree.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I understand you having him at number 2 for sure, Craig. I really do. He's to me, if we were just taking relievers and starters and just saying best pitchers of all time, you have like Eck has to be in the, I don't know where, I don't know, I can't think of a top 10 off the top of my head or anything, but he gets extra bonus points in that category because he excelled at both, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. I just think he was more dominant than the guy that's going to be next. Um, I just, I just do. I actually almost dropped him even more. I never thought the guy that's going to be next was actually all that good. I thought he was good, but I didn't think he was great the way he was considered, and that's why I have him below Eckersley. And now that I think about it, I should probably, for my personal own feelings about him, he should really be like 8 or 9. Like really don't think he was. I
Wow.
mean, he has a huge number, obviously. We might as well just say it. It's Trevor Hoffman,
Yes.
and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was just the way for when I watched him and I just caught him on bad times. But every time I saw that guy pitch, he got shelled.
Well, that's hilarious because he got shelled about 12 times in his whole career. So you must have seen all 12 of them.
I don't know. I just never thought of him. Even when he was playing, I was like, he's good, but he's not great.
Yeah, that's hilarious to me. That's
Interesting.
really
Yeah, I should definitely have him a lot lower.
Huh.
that's funny. Yeah, no. I
He's
mean, I couldn't disagree more strongly, and but I respect your opinion.
Yeah, he's my
Yeah.
number, but he is my number three. I did land him on number three, because basically because of the 608 war, 601 saves, but a 28 war is right on line with everybody else, and 9.4 Ks per nine, 1.06 WHIP is nothing to sneeze at. 3.08 ERA is one of the highest ERAs on here, which is another reason
That's
why I
the
like
wrong
him.
number.
Oh, is it? See,
Yeah,
3.08 as a reliever.
2.87.
So he started games.
Nope, he didn't start a single game his whole career. He's one of the few.
Then what the hell is
Now,
that?
how they could get that stat wrong, I don't know.
Yeah, 2.87 is what it says.
Um,
That's weird.
yeah.
That's weird because the other ones were because they had starts. This one he didn't have any start. I don't understand why he was 3.08. What was I looking at? Well,
Um,
his postseason he didn't have many post. He had four times ZRA. Yeah, his postseason numbers aren't that very good. But
so
I don't know. I never liked him. That's all there is to it. I just never liked
That's
him.
awesome.
um,
Oh, I love it. Well,
actually,
maybe it goes in hand in hand with your love for the Padres.
No love
um,
for the Padres.
here's actually something I want to know if you guys know this. Did you know? And now I could be wrong because internet. We've had that a lot on this podcast, but I didn't know this at all. 6 weeks after he was born, he had a damaged kidney removed.
Jeez.
Um,
Dang,
he actually started as a hitter, which I didn't know that.
I
Um,
didn't know that either.
but he was switched to pitching because of uh he was terrible as a hitter in class A, so he went to pitching. And I always forget about this, but I guess it's something you look back on. And he was traded to the Padres for Gary Sheffield.
Get the heck out of here. Where from to the
I don't remember
Marlins or
that
where?
either.
Where?
Yeah, so the San Diego Padres traded Sheffield to Miami for Trevor Hoffman.
Get out of town.
And I think, I gotta look it up. I saw like it was like when Sheffield was coming off like a great year too.
Well, Sheffield was great. I don't know how long he ended up playing for Miami, but if he played for at least
Yeah,
3 or 4 seasons for them, they got their money's worth too. But San Diego
right.
certainly did.
And then here's a quote from Mike Piazza, which I just thought funny. He said, and I quote, "Some guys fool you, some guys overpower you. Trevor Hoffman will embarrass the crap out of you."
Did you know? Did you know they referred to his teammates referred to his changeup as the Bugs Bunny pitch?
Yes. Um, and also, of course, the first guy ever to reach 500 and 600 saves.
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot he did it before another guy. That's right,
Yep. And
and arguably the coolest closer walkout ever with
yep.
Hell's Bells.
Very good one. He
I
pitched till he was 42 years old.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and he was good at 41. He was
Oh,
really good. He was great, actually.
Yeah, he was.
here. Okay. So here's the interesting part. So I found it. On June 24th, 1993, the San Diego Padres agreed to send third baseman Gary Sheffield, who won the 1992 NL batting crown and nearly achieved the Triple Crown, which included Trevor Hoffman.
Who does it by any chance tell you who else they got? Because they obviously didn't trade Sheffield for just a
Yeah, because
potential
Hoffman wasn't even
Well,
known
reliever.
yet.
they also got hold on. Oh, here it is. Nearly achieved the Triple Crown and pitcher Rich Rodriguez to Florida in exchange for three prospects, including Trevor Hoffman.
Wow.
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman's Florida / Miami career was all of 35 innings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on. Yes.
But no, I just thought just going on. I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting, especially
That is.
given.
That's a fact. I mean, that's borderline Hall of Famer for Hall of Famer trade. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that doesn't happen very often. And Sheffield, by the way, played there for looks like five or six seasons, from 24 to 29. So they got their money's worth out of that trade too. You know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's wild. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, no, but that's yeah, but Trevor Hoffman. I mean, I just thought, like I said, I just thought it was very, very interesting to read up on that.
Finished
Yeah, he's a
seventh.
fascinating guy. I think the big thing with Hoffman, as far as why he's number two, and also why he's still possibly overlooked and or maybe overrated in Craig's mind for sure. And I'm sure you're not the only one. Is he played in obscurity for his entire career? He played for a crappy team on the West Coast. You know, he played what
Yeah.
Milwaukee then for the last couple seasons. You know, so he never played in a major media market. He never played anywhere where anybody was watching him with any regularity. And he pitched, I think, what 4 2/3 innings in the postseason. So he barely got there.
No,
Um,
he pitched for 13 innings in the postseason.
Oh, 13 innings. Okay. So,
Significantly different. Now I'm only kidding.
yeah,
Not at
yeah.
all.
That's awesome.
But 3.46 ERA, whatever. One,
2.87, Craig. I don't know where these numbers are coming from.
no, 3.46 ERA
Oh,
in
you're
the
talking
postseason.
postseason.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. I'm on Baseball Reference now. I'm not on another site with the weird numbers.
Right on.
But
Well,
yeah,
that's a
so he
lot
never really
closer
got
to
much of a
himself than
chance.
Billy Wagner and the other guy. You know what I mean? It's not that far off. It's not horrible.
Right, right.
No. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not like I'm saying he was overrated or whatever, but I still have him. I would still have him, seventh or eighth on my list, and on this list I have him three. So it's not like I'm totally saying he's horrible.
No. But seventh or eighth is way lower than any list I saw, and it's way lower than almost I think anybody. That's the surprising part. Third is, you know, third, and it's totally cool. It's just somewhat surprising and unusual. I think you would
Yep,
acknowledge.
I would definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, I did land him at three, so it's not like I'm saying he's terrible. 601 saves is hard to deny. That's so
Hey,
much more than almost everybody else. I mean, he's got over 100. When you think about it, he's got 601 saves. No one else has even 500.
it's over 100 more than Lee Smith, who's number three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It,
insane.
yeah, it's what is that? Geez, 123 more saves than number three. So yeah, that's hard to ignore. Yeah, that's why he had to be
Absolutely.
where he was for me. But I honestly, the Eck thing, I could go back and forth between two and three very easily. I'm with you there, 100%.
All right,
Right. Yeah.
should we do some other honorable mentions we haven't mentioned yet before we do number one?
Oh, sure, whatever you guys want to do, I'm cool
Oh,
with. Absolutely,
yeah. We could definitely do that.
All right.
I
Well,
like it.
I'm gonna throw a name out just to see what you guys think, and somebody who almost made my list, but his ERA is a little too high. But again, it might be wrong. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna check now. But Jeff Reardon,
Oh yeah, he was on my honorable mentions for sure.
he almost made mine. 367 saves,
Yeah, man.
only an 18.6 WAR. His ERA is 3.16, which actually I did have that right. And so that was, that's the highest on the list. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't make it. In his WAR was 19, little low, but still he had a lot of saves. 367 is a lot.
That's a big number, man. And
And
yes,
Leonard
and
Reed did 41 in 1985.
I always liked Reardon. I saw a lot of him because he was pitching for the Expos and he was in the Phillies division. He had a we talked about good mustaches. He had one of the better beards of any closers ever, and
Yeah.
and yeah, he was tough, man, for a long time. I mean, I saw him, close down a lot of games against the Phils. So, yeah, he was definitely on my list, and as an honorable mention too. I have a lot of respect for that guy, man. And like you said, his ERA got blown up towards the end of his career, pretty
Yeah.
bad. But he was very good for a long time. He really was.
Yeah. One of the top ones in the game for a good stretch. 26, 21, 23, 41, 35, 31, 42, 31, 21, 40, 30, 27. That's a hell of a stretch.
It really is. It
That
really is.
holy.
Especially, and again, talk about Trevor Hoffman languishing in obscurity. It didn't get much more obscure than playing for the Expos in the 80s.
Yep.
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 That's awesome.
So
Good
I
one,
just
man.
wanted to throw his name out there.
Great one. Jordan, you want to go next?
Um.
I have one if you're not ready.
Yeah. No, you go.
Okay. So, all right. Now, every time we do this, I find out about something I didn't know before. And that's one of the reasons I love doing this. And I found a player. And this dude does not need a name. Well, it kind of was a nickname. His real name is Fred Marbury. But everybody calls him Furpo. Furpo Marbury. Either of you guys come across Furpo Marbury?
No.
Okay.
Wait, how do you spell that?
Firpo, and Marbury is Marberry. I kept getting Stefan Marbury when I tried to voice search this. It kept coming up as Purple Marbury and telling me I must be looking for Stefan Marbury. So
He
here,
started a lot of games too.
well, here's the deal with Furpo, man. Here's the deal. This is on. This is his article in Saber Society for American Baseball Research. Saber. Fred Marbury, one of the best pitchers in baseball for a decade, was the first great hurler to be primarily used as a relief pitcher. This is why he's on my list. He played a large role in Washington's only World Series triumph and set many records for relievers that would not be bested for many years. Almost forgotten today, he has been denied larger frame. I'm sorry, he has been denied larger fame by splitting his career between starting and relieving. Had he done one or the other, he might be in baseball's Hall of Fame today.
Yeah, he was good overall, but yeah, there was a couple years where he started 15 games. I see here he started 15 games and saved 13 games.
Do you see the amount of black?
Yeah,
It's crazy. He led the league in games in appearances 6 times. He led the league in games finished 4 times, saves 6 times, whip 2 times. I mean, and his whip isn't great. It's 1.323 for his career, but it was a different game back then. He led the league in whip at 1.206 in 1929. So it was a
right,
very different game.
right. I mean, well,
Uh,
he also led the league once in saves with 9.
and yeah, exactly. And 8 another year.
Right. So I mean, because this is the 20s, and every starting pitcher was pitching a complete game pretty much.
And that year, he led the league in saves with 9. He also started 26 games and pitched 250 innings.
Oh,
That's crazy, man. The year he led the league with 8 saves, he started 25 games and pitched 219 innings. I mean, just
Yep.
unbelievable. So this guy is credited by there's not much baseball reference material I respect more than Saber personally, and they are crediting him as being the first relief pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah. So Furpo Marbury, and he got the nickname from a boxer who beat Jack Dempsey, who was a Latino boxer named Furpo something. I don't have it in front of me. And he hated the nickname because he was being referred to by as some other dude for the rest of his career. So we'll go out on Furpo by calling him Fred Marbury.
Right. That's fantastic.
Good old Furpo. All
interesting.
right. Jordan, do you have anything, or Craig, do you want to go? Whoever's up.
I have one. I mean, I definitely considered him to put on my list over Eric Gagne. But John Franco.
That was going to be
That
my
was
next.
I have 2 guys left, and that was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, 424 saves.
That's
Uh,
why, right there, that's the number.
Boom.
The fact that he's got 424 saves made it real hard to keep him off the list.
yeah.
To me, I looked at him as the most glaring omission on my list.
Still, still to this day, the Mets saves leader.
It's amazing.
And like career saves leader, which is insane.
And wasn't
You know,
there a time in his career when he had to split saves with Jesse Orosco?
I think so.
Wasn't there a time when they were using both of them for a minute? I kind of remember that. Maybe I could be off base.
The Mets and him had a love hate relationship. A lot of the Mets fans really didn't like him. I remember when he was, back in the day when he was playing, Mets fans were up and down with him all the time because he definitely had trouble with runners on base. There was
Yeah.
never a clean save
Oh, I
ever.
remember that. You're right. That's right. That's right.
I mean, his career whip is 1.33.
Wow.
Holy crap!
Yeah, he never had a clean save.
I didn't
That
realize
was
his
that
whip was
was
that
that
high.
that was
That's
the
wild. Okay.
that was the problem with him. But a lot like some of these other guys, when the time came though, he had runners on base, but he shut the door more often than not. He had a good long stretch, 29, 32, 39, 32, 33, 30, 15, 10. That's when he was sharing, I think. Then back to 30, 29, 28, 36, 38, 19.
Man.
He had a nice long career, a good long stretch of saving games, and a career ERA of 2.89. So he let guys on base, but he did not let them score.
He's an exception to that rule. Like that whip almost never comes with that ERA, but he did it.
Yep, he had say 7 strikeouts per inning and almost 4 walks per 9.
Wow.
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 But 424 saves made it real close for me. The 23.4 WAR as well. So or 23.4 WAR. So really close, just missed for me.
Yeah, right there with you on that, Craig. Well said, man. I mean, I echo everything you said. I didn't know that about the whip. I forgot that if I saw it, and but yeah, I second everything you said, man. 100%.
Jordan, it was your guy. Do you have anything more to add?
Um, no, I think you guys hit the nail on the coffin.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it. Craig, do you have anybody else? I
I
have one
have.
more when after you.
All right. Well, this is a Homer one. I just want to mention him. It's Dave Rigetti.
Oh, I had a big thing for Rigetti when I was young. That's awesome. Another guy who was a good starter for a minute.
Yeah, he was. He threw a no hitter and struck out the unstrikeoutable Wade Boggs to finish that no hitter out. I think it was 83.
Oh, I didn't remember that. That's amazing that he struck out Boggs.
Yep, he had 31 starts in 83 with it and pitched 217 innings.
wow.
Man, that's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, Rags, right?
Yeah, Rags. And then his 1986, he had 46 saves, 106 innings.
Man, you couldn't steal his Dunris card in 1986.
I remember his Donruss card. I mean, it's a short run 31 saves and 29, 46, 31, 25, 25, 36, 24, and then fell off the cliff.
Right on, right on. But I,
But
I love that you brought him up, man. He was a
I
guy
just wanted to
I
bring him up. He was my growing up as a Yankee fan closer. Like I'm watching a lot of games when I'm talking single digits, 8, 9 years old, and he was the closer. And he more often than not got the job done, and I liked him quite a bit.
I love it. I love it, man. I understand that entirely. I'm with you actually. He wasn't on my team, but he was a guy that I dug a lot. Rags, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. All right. Well, my last one is another sort of I guess progression of relievers used in baseball guy, and it's another great nickname too. Ellis Old Folks Kinder. I didn't say that right. Ellis Old Folks Kinder. I keep wanting to
Wow.
put an L in there, and there's not one. Um,
Ellis Kinder.
now
Wow.
I doubt this guy came up on it. Did either of you see anything about Old Folks Kinder?
I did not, but he's got a lot of black on his baseball reference page.
Well, that's one of the places I'm heading. And The other thing you'll notice, Craig, on that baseball reference is he didn't debut in the major leagues until he was 31 years old.
Yeah. Wow.
And hence the nickname, old folks. And he was a starter mostly for the first like 5 or 6 seasons.
Yep.
And then he became a full-time reliever uh, in his age 36 season, but started relieving more heavily in his age 34 season.
Yep.
Now he led the league twice in saves with 16 and 27. That 27 was a big freaking number for 1953. Um, and he's given credit for to help move the closer role towards what it eventually became. And Bill James considers the beginning of the modern closer era to be 1976. And Kinder was doing it in the through the 50s. So he was a precursor to the era to come, and he's just another cog
Good
in.
starter. Good starter. 23-6 in 1949
Yeah, he was really good, man. Like
with
he was no joke.
252 innings.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. And then look at the strikeout total.
Wow, 130, 38.
4.9, and that's still better than Quisenberry. I love
Wow.
Quisenberry so much. Quisenberry, by the way, if I don't know if they keep these stats. They probably didn't in the 70s when Quisenberry was, or in the 80s. But I would be willing to bet that Quisenberry induced as many or more ground balls than any reliever
Yeah.
ever.
Another old folks here had a high whip too, so it looks like his saves were also with traffic on the bases.
No doubt, no doubt. Yes, and he did start taming that whip in though as he became a closer. Because if you
That's
look at
true.
it from 52 on, it gets a little better with occasional rough spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it with a 1.32, but like you said, there was definitely some years. There was one year where it was 1.08. So there you go.
Yeah. So he was. Yeah, it's funny how that works, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, so I just wanted to go. I like to go in the Wayback Machine, and old Fred Marbury, Furpo, and Ellis Old Folks Kindler were two of the guys that led to the closer game that we all grew up with.
Nice. I like that.
Nice, awesome, and that's my last guy. If anybody else has anybody else,
I want to show some love to one guy that we didn't do, um, and that's John Wetland.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah. He
Um,
he popped up on one top 10 that I saw, which surprised me.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, basically had 330 career saves. Had the most saves during the decade of the 90s. I mean, I guess that's something to say. And 96 led the American League with 43 saves with the Yankees. Um, yeah, he was just definitely a dominant guy, and I just wanted to show him some love.
Yeah, in the
That's
night
legit, dude.
the
His
90,
peak was shorter than a lot of the guys we've talked about, but he had a massive run from 92 to 98 that was spectacular.
yeah, 96 World Series, he was the one through the last pitch.
That's right.
Yep.
There was a time when it was him. How did that work? Did Mariano just eventually just take him
In
over, or did?
96, he became like the best reliever in baseball.
Hmm.
Wetland was the incumbent closer, and he was still good, so they let him do it. And Mariano, more often than not, pitched 2 innings. He pitched the seventh and the eighth
Okay.
in
I couldn't
96. And then
remember how
97,
exactly
he
that
became,
transition
yeah,
happened.
97, he became the closer. And they did not win the World Series that year and got bounced by Cleveland. And people were questioning if Mariano Rivera was going to work out as a closer.
Oh, that doesn't look real good anymore.
That didn't age well.
That's awesome. Oh, as a comedian once said to me about my appearance, that quote aged like milk.
I want to mention two guys real quick, but I don't even need to expand on it. I'm just really quick going to throw them out there because they
Sure.
both had over 300 saves.
Hmm.
Tom Henke with a 22.9 WAR and 311 saves, and Rob Nen.
That's another great one. Yeah. And I'll throw out one
320.
other name that's in that club with them, Craig, that I didn't have stats anything written down about, but I thought I should have put on the list and didn't. Is Troy Percival.
Troy Percival was another one. Yep. Yep. Hanky had a 2.67 ERA and a 1.09 whip.
That's I mean that's killer numbers. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
Wow.
300 saves. So I figured in a 22 war. So I figured throw him on there.
No, that's great. Yeah,
Nice.
those
Yes.
guys are all worth mentioning. Absolutely.
No, they are 100%.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
let's
So
do it.
do we do number one?
So yeah, my number one is obviously Tug McGraw.
Yep.
Man. Yeah. So number one, obviously, Mariano Rivera, the all-time sleeves leader, with 652 saves.
I don't think it'll ever be broken.
Nope.
I bet
Um.
everything I have on that.
Yeah. He, basically he's just stayed with one team his entire career. Uh, was, like I said, just a dominant force. For people who don't believe how dominant it was, at age 43 years old, he still saved 44 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then also what I have the stat here. I can't think of it. I had 15 straight years with at least 28 saves or more.
I mean that's not even human.
No.
Surprisingly, he only led the league in saves 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a little surprising that there's only 5 black numbers on his whole baseball reference thing, but there are also 3 yellow numbers at the end of the career, and that's a massive number.
Yeah, the yellow numbers are the all time number one.
Yep,
Yep.
which is
Um, he didn't finish as number one in saves all but 3 times, but the thing is he was always right there.
right.
He was like second or third or over and over and over again. But I mean, the numbers in terms of the save years are absolutely ridiculous. And that year that I was talking about, 1996, he had 107 innings because that was when he was pitching 2 innings at a time. And he was
Man.
much more of a strikeout pitcher. He had 130 strikeouts in 107 innings.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I mean, the numbers are just they're just stupid. I mean, 56.3 whip. No, I'm sorry, WAR.
War, yep.
And
Yep, which by the way, that is the largest number by far of anybody on this list that never was a starter.
yeah,
Yeah.
The closest is Trevor Hoffman, and he's almost 30 points behind.
that's insane.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Do you
It's
know
the
what
it's the biggest
ERA
separation
plus?
of any position
Do
ever.
you know what ERA plus means?
I really don't. I just know it's the newfangled like thing that a lot of stat nerds like better than ERA, but I don't understand it. But
He's the
he's the all time leader in it.
Yes, he is. Yes, his whip not 0.97, which is what I had because apparently his 1 year where he was like a starter for like 4 games impacted his whip that much. But his whip is 1.00.
That's a nice symmetry and a beautiful number. And
Yeah.
I mean, just all time leader in games finished, all time leader in saves, all time leader in ERA plus. Just if I need one game finished, there's
Oh,
no other answer.
there really isn't. It's not,
No.
and it's not close.
No, it's the biggest separation between number one and number two of any position we've done so far in my mind, and it's not even close. Before, to me, it was probably Mike Schmidt at third base for me,
Yep.
but that was I mean I think I had Eddie Matthews number two, and Eddie Matthews is a lot closer to Mike Schmidt than Trevor Hoffman is to Mariano Rivera for me.
I agree.
But the real baffling numbers are click the little playoff tab on
Yeah, this is
Baseball
okay. Now
Reference.
now we're getting to the good stuff.
Holy crap. He pitched 141 innings in the playoffs. That's the equivalent for him of about a season and a half.
Right.
And over that season and a half worth of games, he had a 0.70 ERA.
Give him the whip.
The whip was 0.75.
I mean, come on. We talked about almost like most of the closers that we all had on our list today were themselves in the playoffs, with a couple exceptions. Trevor Hoffman, Billy Wagner, and one other guy I'm blanking on right now. They were the exceptions, and two of the three were horrible. Hoffman was just a little worse than his regular self. Mariano Rivera was the greatest closer of all time in the regular season, and way better in the postseason.
I mean, just insane.
That's incredible. His
And
ERA in the postseason
I
is
think I,
two. I can't say it. It sounds weird just saying it, but it's two lower than his regular season ERA.
um, it's funny to say. I said this before, but I love the stat of more people have walked on the moon than have scored against Mariano Rivera in the postseason.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane. Like his saves are in the postseason. His 42 saves are amongst the all time. I'll give you. You want to know who's second in postseason? Kenley Jansen with 20.
So he's got him by more than double.
So I
Incredible.
mean that's
Incredible.
just interesting. Also, here's another interesting stat too. His 2.2 ERA is number one of all pitchers in the live ball era, which they're counting that started in 1919.
Oh my god!
So I think we said all we could about Mo being the all-time closer of
Wow.
all time.
I mean,
Yeah,
it just goes on and on with this guy. You just can't say enough. It's
Eh,
incredible.
and just to imagine
it's
too.
like when you go on Baseball Reference and you look up like Babe Ruth's numbers and you're just like marveling at them. That's
Right.
what I do with Mariano sometimes. I just go on here every once in a while and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's out of control.
and
I
also
mean, it
just
really
think
is.
about this. This is a guy that the Yankees almost traded to.
Yeah.
What was the deal with that? I don't know that.
Um, what was it? I think George just. I don't remember the story
Yeah,
100.
he almost
percent
saved him right after he was a starter because he almost traded him because he was not a very good starter.
Was he good
Yeah,
for Jay Buhner?
I don't know who it was for though. I don't remember.
I'm looking up right now. Hope if I could spell. Uh,
It
let's see. Huh? He almost got traded to the Mariners.
was for
Okay.
Jay Buhner.
Let's see.
No, because
Oh,
they had Jay Buhner then. They're the ones who traded him for Ken Phelps.
wait, the Yankees had Buhner at that point, you're saying?
I don't know if they had him at that point, but they had him first. I know they traded Buhner for Ken Phelps.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yes. Yes. Duh. That's yeah. That's the famous.
The Seinfeld. What the hell did you trade Jay Buhner for? He had 30
They told
home
me you had a
runs
good
and
arm.
100
What is
RBIs a
he?
year. He's got a rocket for an arm. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
He's that's the quote I'm trying to remember. He's got a rocket for an arm. That's awesome. Oh, whew.
13-time All-Star, 5 times Rollies Man of the Year, 5 World Series,
Some
saved 8 consecutive World Series games. That's
what?
crazy.
Incredible.
They, they were gonna trade him for the Mariners for Felix Firm.
Felix
Felix
Fermin?
Sump.
Yeah,
Fermin?
bro. Yeah, for me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have worked out well.
That was no Hoffman for Sheffield.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
yeah, Chef. Yeah, those are two good, really great players.
yeah.
Felix Felix
But
That's
also,
Fermin.
freaking wow.
the other thing that reminds me of Mo, because I remember this. Um, in 2012 was supposed to be his last year, but then he got hurt.
Yeah, he blew out
He
his knee,
Yeah,
shagging
blew
fly
out his
balls in the
knee.
outfield.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
came back in 2013 and still saved 44 games.
That's incredible. Absolutely. And then said, "Okay, I'm done."
Yeah,
Amazing,
So
amazing, and his numbers that year, not just the saves, but all his numbers were in par on par with any of his best years, almost. I mean,
yeah,
incredible,
yep.
absolutely incredible.
Only reliever ever to win a World All Star Game MVP, a World Series MVP, and there was one other one I don't remember,
ALCS.
and an ALCS MVP.
And that 99, which was the one I was at, by the way, was the one he won the MVP, the Braves one. And the stats that year: 4 and 2/3 innings, 0 runs, 1 win, 2 saves.
Yep, he did, and that's pretty much what he did every World Series, except for
It's
there was a
crazy.
couple where he won. He won more. He saved more than two.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. Another amazing Mariano stat. Finish, and again, keep in mind the bias against closers when I'm reading this stat. He finished top three in the Cy Young voting 3 times, 4 times. Sorry, 4 times. Top five, 5 times.
Yep, yep. And the bias, like you said, the bias, but the bias was gone when his Hall of Fame came up.
Hmm.
Yeah, only perfect guy.
Only one. Still to this
Oh my,
day.
Which I don't know what happened that year, where the voters actually pulled their heads out of their asses and said, "We're going to do what actually is correct." Because they
Yeah,
certainly got, like, Mariano is one of like 100 players that should have been unanimous, and they actually got it right with him.
yeah. And for some reason, he's the only one.
Yeah,
First,
it shows you how dumb reporters are in one sense. It's also
yep.
kind of cool in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. One of the greatest things I can say in terms of being a baseball fan is that I got to see him pitch
Yeah.
many times. I
yeah,
saw him pitch many times, actually.
Oh, I mean, that must have just been a treat to have him on the team you love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just on TV. I'm talking about many times live. I saw him close out plenty of games live, and pretty much his entire career, I saw almost every save he ever had. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
amazing, man. And I was lucky enough to see him in person, which is so cool. I will brag about that till the end of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in my opinion, and this will be the last thing I say on him,
Hmm.
in my opinion, the most important part, I don't care, starting pitcher, player, Derek Jeter, whatever you want to say, the most vital part of the Yankees 90s dynasty was Mariano Rivera. And to me, not even close.
I wouldn't argue it. I mean, I the especially after Bill James backing up that whole
Yeah,
importance of closer theory. But
yep,
I would
he
have
was,
said it before I read that article too.
yeah,
But
he was
yeah,
the one huge
came
advantage they
in.
had
That
over
was it.
everybody
Done.
else.
Nobody else could say that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's perfect.
I, I agree with that. Yeah. Uh, actually, one more thing, because I was looking up, because you mentioned the unanimous. I was looking up who he went in the Hall of Fame with. Not bad guys. Um, but I think it's funny that he went into the Hall of Fame with Edgar Martinez, who killed Mariano Rivera.
Yep, yep. What,
Uh, yeah.
how
But
about this? When after he was a starter, he got optioned down to AAA with Derek Jeter in 1995. They both got optioned.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, because I'm looking at this list. I mean, yeah, he's the only one who deserved to be unanimous. So, because not saying that people don't deserve it who got inducted with him, but just eh.
Yeah.
So it was him, Edgar, Mike Messina, Lee Smith, Harold Baines, and Roy Halladay.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, those guys are.
We could
There's
go.
plenty of people that should have been unanimous. Like
Oh,
Willie Mays not being unanimous is dumb.
yeah.
Yeah, Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Uh, Probably.
Yeah,
Nope.
come on.
Uh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yogi.
By the way, the Yankees almost traded Rivera twice. 1995, Gene Michael had a deal in place with the Tigers for David Wells and was about to do it, but somebody from the minors where he got optioned in 95 with Jeter said that he has an increase of velocity from 90 miles an hour, which is what he was throwing, to 95 miles an hour. And when Gene Michael heard that, he nixed the deal.
Interesting.
No, no, no. He came much later. I think it was a free agent, like 97, 98, something like that. No, he tried to wear his hat. It wasn't. They wouldn't let him. And that perfect game he pitched, he said he was drunk. Yep.
Uh, no, 100%. And I mean, I think we've been a little bit over 2 hours now. Um, yeah, but yeah, no, it's this is fun. This was a fun list. Not saying it was fun because we got 10 out of it. Um, instead of
Oh
20.
man, I'm sorry. I got to
But
stop reading these things because they keep coming up with more and more shit. In '96, he threw three straight appearances, basically a no hitter. He had 3 innings for three straight appearances when Wetland was the closer and he was released. And I told you he was pitched in more than 1 inning. He had three straight where he pitched 3 innings and didn't allow a hit in all 3 innings. Three straight appearances. That's 9 innings, no hits.
wow.
And Tom Kelly, the manager of the Minnesota, says he belongs in a higher league if there is one. Ban him from baseball. He should be illegal. And he extended that to 14 innings without giving up a hit until he gave up a single to the White Sox, Tony Phillips.
Wow.
I'm off. I can't because I'll just keep going because there's more and more.
And
And
yeah,
the stories and stuff. But yeah, okay,
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I like it. I love it. Um, all right. Well, again, that was fun. Loved doing this. It was a lot of fun.
of course.
Uh, I I hate to say it, but starting pitchers next.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, I
We went
yeah,
from probably the easiest one to what's most definitely going to be the hardest.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah. So what? We'll do a. We agree on top 20 for starting pitching.
Yeah. And we'll do 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that next. Should be a lot of fun. Uh, we'll
And once
figure
my
out.
list is done, it'll be fun. But doing the actual list will not be fun.
Yeah, no, that'll be. Um, we'll figure out a date to do that. Whenever. Um, so we'll figure
Well,
that out.
we can hammer it down for like 2 weeks from now.
Do you guys want to do that 2 weeks from now? So we'll do it on the 18th.
I think that works for me.
Okay. Do you, I was gonna say, did you guys want to do the 18th and the 25th? We'll do back to back, or would that is that too much?
Yeah, because I'm gonna do my list completely from 20 to 1. So we only need a week in between is fine. Like I'm not gonna do. Yeah.
All right then. So yeah, we'll do that then. So look out for that pod. And then as always, check out Craig's and Al's pod. I know we did our predictions last week. Are you guys going back to doing football or not quite yet?
Well, not quite yet. We're probably in a holding pattern until the draft. Probably the week before, probably the first day of the draft might be our first pod. And then we'll do a reaction to the draft pod as well. And then that'll probably be another lull for the football pods. Real quick, I do want to mention I am doing a baseball pod on my own for the Yankees specifically, a Yankees pod, and
Mhm.
the plan right now is after every series go over the series,
Oh, okay.
and it's only 10 minutes. That's about how long the last one was. So just a quick 10-minute pod at the end of every baseball series when the with the Yankees. I just did the one for Arizona right before we press record for this one, and I did the one against Milwaukee over the weekend. I did that one on Sunday or on Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it. That's the plan anyway, like I said, and we'll see how it goes.
I'll just yeah. There's a
No,
oh. I gave
sick of it, and finally, it is dying down a little bit.
I gave my opinion on that. If you guys haven't checked out, I did it. Actually, I'm gonna try to do a weekly recap every Monday on the big stories. So I
Yep,
actually gave my opinion on the torpedo bats.
it's silly, is what it is. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And if they're that much of if they're that much of an advantage, they're going to be in every team's locker room by like tomorrow. Right. That's another thing too. They're not paying attention to other people who were using it last year and other teams. There was people on other teams. I think Francisco Lindor used it last year.
Yep. Alex Bohm of the Phillies used it to
Yeah.
yesterday. Yesterday he used it.
Yes. And I know the Braves apparently ordered like 25 of them on Monday after the Yankees series. Right. But I
Yeah.
think everybody's going to be doing that. I think they're going to be everywhere.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, look. The one thing that I say is like people's like, oh, it's a form of cheating. No, it's not because you also have to realize the player still got to swing the bat. He still got to time it.
You still got to, yeah, you got to hit the ball still.
You got to hit the bat. It's a Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna tell you what I said on when I give my opinion. It's a human being still controlling the bat. You still gotta time it exactly. So it's so yeah, it,
And,
yeah,
and Major
yes,
League Baseball looked at them and said they were legal. So that's all they're, that's it.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it was. It was. All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining me on this list. Lots of fun. Uh, like I said, look out for the starting pitchers within the next couple of weeks. Um, and then, also look out for Craig's Yankees pod. Also, his reaction videos on YouTube, which he does as well. I gotta mention that. And yeah, you guys got anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm good too. Thanks, Jordan, for the praise there, and for the pop for my stuff. Appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to the starting pitching.
Yep, as always. So thank you guys once again for joining me. I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.